Hello and welcome back to my channel. This week is my Halloween upload. I'm only doing one due to the construction outside. Plans have changed, but I did still want to get up a Halloween video. I love Halloween. It's just unfortunate that the construction outside has coincided with this season and has made it truly impossible to film talking content, so we are working around it. About a month ago, I asked in a poll what you like to see for Halloween stuff. Do you like aspirational giant transformations, or do you like realistic makeup that you can do yourself? Overwhelmingly, realistic was the winner, which truly surprised me. If you would like to participate in my polls, I actually do them quite often, so make sure you subscribe so they can pop up in your feed when I put out a question. I've taken all of the comment considerations, I've locked them into my mind. They're up there. I can't please everybody, but I hope I can please most of you. I'm going to be playing to my strengths throughout this concept, you could say. This is the long, boring part of the video. I will put a timestamp up if you just want to see me get into the makeup. I feel like, due to the title of this video, this spiel is warranted. I am playing to my own strengths here. I do grungy, alternative, gritty type of makeup, so I have the technique in my hands to do this, and that's what I'm playing with for Halloween. And I think that's how you get really good costumes, is if you know your strengths and you play with it. For work, I like to keep things very classic when it comes to the costumes. Vampire, skeleton, ghost, witch, you know, like the classic Halloween costumes I feel are more acceptable, to use that term loosely here. Once you go more niche with it, I think that's where things can fall apart with the appropriate level of your costume for your workplace. That being said, remember your workplace, okay? Every workplace will have different rules, regulations, HR needs. Don't go to work wearing something completely inappropriate unless you've been told by your manager, whoever, that on Halloween, it's a free-for-all. You know, like, you still have to be smart. No one wants to roll up on Monday, November 3rd, to an HR meeting. You still have to apply your workplace rules to Halloween. A lot of places, it's not appropriate. And if you don't know by now of me uploading this, then I think you can say that your workplace does not do costumes, okay? So don't even do it. Save this for the nighttime. I am not responsible for anyone's jobs. Even though it's a fun holiday, just please, your paycheck is more important than wearing a costume. So for my office vampire look, my inspiration is very like Victorian into Edwardian concept. My face prep will be very different than yours, let's say, because I have dry skin. I'm going in with the Embryolisse cream. If you find that your skin is more oily, go in with an all-day primer that you like to use. My personal favorite is the MAC, The MAC 12-hour mattifying primer, silver tube. I really like that one if I really need my base to stay on all day long. And what you can do instead is go in with highlighter on top of your face. It won't give you the same depth, clear, sick skin, but it will help make your makeup last all day long. And offices are cold anyways, so there's a probability that now that it's the fall, you won't even need to do a mattifying primer because it's not the summertime. It's cold in Toronto now. My stupid headphones, the leather on them is really old because they're very old headphones, and I just find these little black specks all over me. If you see black specks on my face, no you didn't. And because our goal is vampire drained of life, if your base makeup is a little bit lighter than the rest of your face, that will work in your favor here. It's also Halloween, so you can get away with a mismatched foundation. I'm wearing a white shirt for my costume. If you decide to wear a white shirt on the day of, please don't do your makeup with the white shirt on, okay? Do your makeup without the shirt and then put it on after. You never know what could happen, and then you don't have your costume to wear. So I am just going to mix together a skin tint and a little drop of foundation in it just so I can get a little more coverage out of it. I'm wearing the Kylie skin tint. I really like it. I use the shade 1N. It isn't my perfect skin tint shade. Adding in just that little drop of regular foundation helps just color it a little bit better. I could add my green color corrector into this as well, but like I said, for Halloween, walking around with a little bit of a mismatched foundation isn't always a bad thing, especially if you're going for a vampire look. I'm so excited that they don't seem to be jackhammering anymore. They're still maneuvering outside and using their trucks, but I'm recording so much later than I usually do. It is 4:11 in the afternoon. I never ever record this late. I had to do it. Okay, so now we have our skin. From here, we are taking a cream contour. For this makeup to work, you do actually need your products to be contour gray. No weirdly named contours that are actually bronzers, right? So this is just the Sephora contour stick, and we're gonna really go into the cheekbone. The brush I'm using is the Sephora 98. It's just like a loose bristle, but long kind of brush. Gaunt, we want gaunt. And then into the temple as well. This is really gonna start to hollow your head. Remember, we're a vampire who has been wandering for hundreds of years. And a little bit on the nose because we still want to be a little snatched. Just don't go crazy with it. For powdering the face, I'm going in with a combination between a fully matte powder and a luminous powder. You want the luminosity for your face to be juicy and glowing, but you know, you still need it to last all day, so you need a long wear kind of powder. Ideally transparent if you can. I know depending on your skin tone, not always possible. If you have something that's too light or your winter shade, using it now will help with that hollow, not alive look. And I'm just gonna press it in. We don't want concealer, okay? No concealer, which might be very difficult for some of you, but if you have deep eye bags, that's going to help with this look. The less makeup you have to put on for this, the easier your day is gonna go, and it's not gonna feel costumey at all. This step is not necessary, but I'm going to go in with a powder contour as well, and it's just going to add a little bit of depth. When you do a cream and then powder, it just adds extra dimension to the face. I'm going in with this darker one for the temples. We can get away with something darker above the cheek. And throwing it into my eye just to get something going. From here, you can spray your face with a luminous setting spray if you want. It is quite mattified. However, I wouldn't recommend it if you know that makeup usually melts off of your face. You want your makeup to still last all day and not get too crazy. Halloween is on a Friday night, so you might be wearing it for over 12 hours. Who's to say? It's your Halloween night, not mine. With blush. You can do blush if you want, but your color has to be very desaturated, natural, light pink, nothing too pigmented, too modern in a sense. It's kind of like you want it to be just like pinched cheeks kind of tone. I'm going to be going in with Kaleidos Pale Rose. This is what I mean where this is such a subtle blush color, barely noticeable, and that's what you want. I'm just going in with this same brush that I powdered with and just gonna keep it to the outside of our contour. Very soft, very subtle. That's all you want. You may have noticed that I also didn't do my eyebrows. No eyebrows. What's an eyebrow in Victorian land? Eyebrows didn't really get started until 1920 to like do your eyebrows. So unless you're a 1920s vampire, no eyebrows. So sorry. I think I might be growing my eyebrows back out. Usually I get to this point and then I shave them back down, but we'll see. Now for the eyes, we're going to keep it ever so simple. You want to have a neutral gray shadow. For me, I'm going in with Cozy Gray by MAC. There are so many eyeshadow palettes out now that have a cool gray in them if you're someone who buys new releases. And this shadow is just going to the outside of the eye, and it's going to help hollow out your eye by keeping it kind of natural. And you want to do under the eye. Here's the eye with and the eye without. You can see how it just washes out your eye, and do that on this eye. I'm going to take a more medium tone neutral gray brown. This one is from Cheer Up. Again, if you have some of these newer palettes, you may find that everything is in one palette that you have, but I don't have any of those newer palettes. So I gotta kind of mishmash my colors together. And this is going into your crease. Almost in a very 60s manner. We want to accentuate that eye fold. There's nothing on this brush. And again, kind of finding where your eye folds to the outside of your eye and placing that more medium gray brown in there. Now what we need is almost a skin tone pink. Anything that can give off I'm not well. And if you actually don't have anything like that, you can use a blush. A lot of powder blushes are eye safe, or if they're not eye safe, for one night only, you'll be fine. They just might stain your eyelid. Just be aware. So I'm going to be taking kind of like a mauvey blush, and we want to keep it as close to the eye as possible. Almost like we've been crying for hours. And do the bottom as well. Always include the bottom. So we're gonna blend very loosely, give it that realistic look. I'm now going in with a more pigmented mauve. This is the Buttermilk blush in Butta with Thyme. And we're just repeating all of that. Skinnier this time, even thinner than what you just did. Best way to achieve it is most likely to tap your loaded brush into your eye so you can control the thickness. Give your eye a little 1-2. Now I have a pink liner that I'm going to put into my waterline. If you don't have a pink liner, this is something you can skip. But it's just gonna help neutralize that skin tone that's in your waterline. Now from here, there are a few ways you can go to finish off your lips. You can either do the classic vampire where it's like a cherry red lip, or you can lean into that unaliveness with a concealer lip. It's completely up to you what you have at your disposal as well. That will help you make your decision. For me, I'm going to lean into the whole concealer lip vibe. This is Mina. This is their 501 shade, Classic Beige, I believe. And it's just a bit too yellow for me, so I'm going to color correct it with Tilted Denim. I overcorrected. It's all good. Don't panic. If you're going the concealery lip way, we're gonna take a smudge brush into your medium gray brown, and that's gonna be your lip liner. And the reason I am featuring this method is because not everyone wants to buy a whole new makeup item for one day. So use what you have. Personally, I would use like Beige or something. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea though. Using an eyeshadow is just as good. You just have to make sure that your brush is thin enough to be able to do the lip line. Now, from here, this is where you have to know your office for the final details. You may have to stop here. You can be a vampire, you can be a ghost, you could be a Victorian child, up to you. Once you go into the details, that's when you have to know if your workplace is cool or not. So don't do these steps if your workplace is not chill in that way for Halloween. I have a dagger paintbrush here and I'm going to pick up red lipstick, ideally a matte lipstick if you have one, and you want to give your eyes like stress lines. If you have very fair skin like I do, you may even be able to just trace the ones that you already have, and it just gives you that little bit of veininess. From here, you can do any kind of classic blood move. If you want to do a line of blood down your lip, you can. To make it a little more realistic, if you have white face paint just laying around, I want you to go get it. You can actually use a fixing spray like so. Give it a little spritz. With our paintbrush that we used on our eyes, we're gonna pick up a little slurry of white and we're gonna give it a couple shiny highlights. If you don't want to do the classic blood drip, you can do a red pencil neck bite. A little too close together. Okay. Take number 2, about the cap. There we go. There's the neck bite. If you want to, again, with your red lipstick, it's a lot harder to do on the neck. You can do your little veins on your neck, probably with more patience than I had. And if your veins are a lipstick, load up your powder on your brush again and give that lipstick a pat, and you'll set it down for the day, and there you have it. It's a little bit layered throughout this video. There are plenty points to stop. You can stop just on this side if you so choose, or you can go all the way and continue on like so. Please dress up responsibly. I want you to not be in an HR office, okay? But remember that Halloween is fun and silly, and you do not have to dress to the nines in order to participate. You can do something very quick and easy yourself. It is 4:47 now. This took me about half an hour to do, but I was talking. So I would say this is a 20-minute makeup look, especially if you don't talk to someone throughout it, like I was describing things to you guys. The neck I didn't clean off very well, but you guys understood the point of showing you a very quick tutorial for a neck bite. I will insert a brief clip of what I'm wearing so that you can see the vampire vision. It is just a maxi skirt. Maxi, and a button up, a white button up. It doesn't need to be crazy. Jewelry wise, if you have any costume jewelry that you could add to something like this to just amp up that Victorian vibe, go for it. It's not something I would ever recommend going out and buying unless you know you're going to be a vampire and reusing that jewelry all the time. It's a very specific niche type of jewelry to purchase. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to overthink things, and you don't have to purchase brand new attire just for a holiday. Do I look vampire enough though? I think so. Dramatic with the shadow in the background. For my face, I used 3 brushes. Our foundation brush, the contouring brush, and the olive powder brush. So powdering the face, doing the blush, doing the powder contour, everything was on this brush. So 3. And then for the eyes, we used a fluffy domed brush, a flat smudge brush, a regular standard eyeshadow brush, and our bonus dagger paintbrush. Only 7 brushes. Very minimal makeup look. I did not do mascara. Much like no eyebrows, no mascara. At most, you can do a brown mascara, but once you add the mascara, it brings you to life. And that is not the goal with being a vampire. I don't want to look alive, so no mascara. But you know, you do you. If you absolutely can't leave the house without mascara, I understand. Put your mascara on. I'm not going to yell at you about it. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you liked me, consider subscribing. That way I can pop up in your feed more often and you can participate in the polls. You can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, both are Claire Cuckoo as well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!